What's up, everyone? I am back, and today we're going to talk fantasy outlook of a player that's been blowing up on draft boards, and that is, of course, none other than Kareem Hunt. So, if you've been keeping up with my videos, you saw I did a little bit of news on the Kareem Hunt takeover from Spencer Ware's injury a little bit earlier during the week. But since this has been such a hot debated topic, and since his draft stock has risen so high, I thought, man, this deserves a standalone video, and that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. So, when talking Hunt, the first thing that needs to be addressed is his meteoric rise on fantasy draft boards. Now, if you were lucky enough to get him before these injury news about Spencer Ware occurred, congrats, you got a steal because the average draft position for Hunt was around the 8th or ninth round a week ago. And obviously, he was a target for a potential breakout if Spencer Ware got benched and lost his starting role. But with the injury news, this progression is fast tracked big time because now he is the sole running back in Kansas City. He's going to be that workhorse, and people know that Andy Reid loves to feature his running backs and run them hard. And due to a combination of those things, Hunt's new average draft position has skyrocketed all the way to about the third round. Now, I've seen a lot of different positions somewhere in the early third round, mid third round, late third round, and probably the latest, the fourth round. So let's discuss that and whether that is warranted or not. Now, before deep diving this third round ADP, let's actually look where Hunt's new value compares to his fellow rookie running backs. Now, in terms of the other guys, you have Mixon, you've got Dalvin Cook, you've got McCaffrey, and you have, of course, Leonard Fournette. Now, in my opinion, Hunt currently easily better option than all of those guys, starting with McCaffrey and going backwards because he is the feature guy and he can both catch the ball and run the ball. So when it comes to the discussion Fournette or Hunt, I am in the opinion that Hunt better option as well here because he first of all is on a better team and has a better offensive line, and he has less competition behind him with Charkandrick West versus Fournette, who has Yeldon and Chris Ivory. So, with that being said, let's actually see how he compares to some of the guys that are going in the third round, especially the running backs. Now, in the third round, you will see guys like Lamar Miller, Isaiah Crowell, like I said before, McCaffrey, maybe Fournette, but I think you can make the case that he should be targeted ahead of all of those guys. But the question becomes, is this warranted? Now, let me tell you why I think that he should not be drafted before the fourth round. Now, with the third round, look at the players that are still there, whether it is PPR or standard leagues. You still have guys like DeAndre Hopkins, possibly Gurley if he slips. You still have guys like Keenan Allen. You still might have a guy like Demaryius Thomas if he somehow drops. So these are all, in my opinion, better options. You also have the quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers. If Zeke somehow falls, obviously people are saying his suspension will be reduced, so maybe not the case with Zeke, but still, I do not take Hunt in the third round unless it is towards the end of the third round and some of the guys that I mentioned have already been picked. Now, obviously, if you're in deep trouble for a running back and you're not picking again for a while because you went wide receiver in the first two rounds, he might be your best option and you might have to reach. But I would say try your best not to take him until the end of the third round. And one of the biggest reasons for this is an example from last year. Look at what happened with the Broncos. CJ Anderson goes down, and then you have a guy, a rookie, in Devonta Booker, who has an amazing game in the first game after the injury on CJ Anderson, and then people go crazy, pick him up, get him off waivers, initiate trades with him, and they invest running back one value in Booker. But what happens? Booker cannot really hold up to those expectations because after that one big game, he never really had multi-rushing touchdown games. He never got close to getting over 100 yards. And there is something to be said about the stage being too big. And honestly, we haven't even seen any real season action of Kareem Hunt. We have only seen preseason. So I think it's a little bit too fast for everyone to be saying he is automatically in the running back one discussion, because you need to pump the brake a little bit and you need to see at least after week one what his actual value is. I think that'll be a very good judging point after that Patriots game. But with that being said, no one can actually tell what's going to happen in that game, so everyone is picking him off based on value and based on projections. Again, I would say take caution when it comes to that. On top of this, another thing to be cautious about is any trades featuring Kareem Hunt. And the reason that I say this is because his trade value right now, it is at an all-time high and probably going to be at the highest point throughout the season, because people are basing what he will do solely on projections and his potential. There is no actual game footage of him in the regular season to back up any of these projections. You do not know what's going to happen. And for that reason, I would suggest wait until the first week, the second week, until those weeks are in the book, because his draft and trade value will only either stay the same, only slightly rise, or plummet. And to all of you that are looking for running backs, I say wait until that draft value falls, then jump on him. And on the flip side, if you are a Kareem Hunt owner that was able to get him, whether it be prior to injury or afterwards, I would say try to trade him right now. Try and trade him, especially if you have some other running backs. And on the flip side, get some of those other positional players. Get some of those still very valuable wide receivers. Maybe get a quarterback. Heck, maybe trade Hunt straight out for Rodgers. Do something like that, because in the long run, that will help your team even more. So with that being said, overall, I personally have my Kareem Hunt ranking right around the fourth round, early fourth round, possibly the late third round, if truly all the players behind him that I mentioned have been chosen. And let me know what you guys think. Do you agree? Where are you guys personally picking him? What are some trades that you have been offered or that you have tried to swing to get Hunt? And as always, if you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and I will see you in future videos.